Hey Facebook, hi Instagram. So I'm here in the yoga studio at my office. We have a yoga studio upstairs. So I thought I would jump in here before I head home for the day and talk about factor number 3 for breast health, hormones. Okay, so I think that hormones automatically are associated with breast cancer a lot of the times. However, there's a lot of different reasons why we can develop breast cancer. However, estrogen is definitely one of those hormones that can be contributing or perpetuating the cancer, or maybe even be the cause of the development of breast cancer. So let's talk about hormones that can nourish healthy, hormones in balance, what hormones when in balance will nourish healthy breast tissue, but when out of balance can actually perpetuate unhealthy breast tissue. Adrian, hey, good to see you on here. Grace, hello, hello, hello. If you're popping on live with me, go ahead and let me know where you're coming from. I'd love to see how we are all communing in the afternoon together from all over the world. Hey, hey. Okay, so let's dive in. The 2 hormones that we're really going to focus on today that nourish breast health are insulin, or when out of balance can cause, unhealthy breast tissue, are insulin and estrogen. Okay. So we're going to break down estrogen into 2 different categories because estrogen really does have this ability to perpetuate unhealthy breast tissue in a couple of different ways. So the first hormone factor to look at, the first hormone factor to look at is insulin. So if insulin is elevated, it's usually because glucose has been elevated for long periods of time. And what happens over a long period of time when insulin is high is we start to see insulin sensitivity and an inefficient uptake of glucose into cells. And so we see glucose floating around the bloodstream for too long. And we know that glucose will feed cancer cells. And so it's really important that we get that element under wraps ASAP. Fixing glucose and fixing insulin sensitivity is really, really more about making some major dietary changes. So clinically, in my experience, when people decide that they're gonna go vegan and really not eat a lot of grains, but really focus on high quality, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, we can see a big improvement in blood sugar relatively quickly. You don't have to be vegan to experience major improvement, but you can cut back on your animal protein, and that will typically we'll see a dip quite frequently as long as you're eating clean grains and good amounts of produce to help support healthy blood sugar. Now there's also, totally Adrian, you're so right. You can starve it out. So you can also use some essential oils to help increase insulin sensitivity for your cells so that there's less glucose floating around. Things like cinnamon oil will do that. I like the blend that doTERRA has called Slim and Sassy that has cinnamon oil in it, and also grapefruit, which is great for sugar cravings. Grapefruit is wonderful for helping to tame those sugar cravings and kind of calm the desire for you to reach for those things that are probably going to perpetuate that lack of insulin sensitivity. And also, if you already have some unhealthy cells that have started to develop, you want to do everything you can to set yourself up to win to avoid eating extra sugar. So grapefruit's great. A couple of drops under the tongue. 2 simple food principles to follow when trying to tame, avoiding sugar is avoid, white sugar and avoid white flours, avoid white grains. So, white rice is not going to be a good idea. You could choose brown rice or even wild rice instead. If you're looking for healthy grains that are not going to cause these huge blood sugar fluctuations, you would want to also consider doing things like buckwheat. You can do quinoa. Quinoa is actually a seed, not a grain at all, but it kind of tricks you into thinking that it is because it's kind of like rice. So you want to stick with whole grains and get rid of the white the white flours and the processed grains like white rice, okay? So that's all I'm gonna say about blood sugar, because making those changes can be really basic and simple. And just think of it like this. You're affecting your cells on so many different levels, not just nourishing healthy breast tissue, but also nourishing every other element of your body by avoiding those processed sugars and supporting healthy blood sugar. Everything from like your mood to every other hormone in your body is going to be better off when you avoid the sugars and you get your natural blood Okay, so hormones that can estrogen. Okay, we talked about insulin. Now we're going to on estrogen. Estrogen has like twofold effect on breast tissue. Okay, so if estrogen is in excess, that's not good. We know that when estrogen is in excess, we see more cellular, we can see more proliferation happen. So we can see an increase in cell growth. Like when estrogen is elevated, we know that we're more prone to lumps and bumps almost everywhere in our body. We know that you're more likely to develop endometriosis, which is an excessive tissue, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, so the development of cysts on the excess, not something or so things that could cause estrogen excess would be obesity. I mentioned estrogen hormone replacement. That's why are not really a great idea because doctors are making sure that you're not in estrogen excess and accidentally feeding tissue proliferation. Also steroid therapies. So if you take a lot of people think, well, I don't take steroids. I'm not trying to like compete in a bodybuilding competition, but actually a lot of us take steroids when we go to the doctor and we're given, you know, like steroid cream for skin flare-ups. Or if you've, you know, had a steroid injection, a cortisone injection into a joint that's been bothering you for a long time, that's steroid therapy. And so we know that over time that stuff can actually hang out and cause estrogen excess as well. Never think that there's not these, you know, side effects that happen when we're doing things like steroid injections or cortisone injections or steroid creams. Like I can't tell you how many women come into my office and they're like, I don't do steroids. And I'm like, well, what did you say you were putting on your skin on your intake form that you gave me a year ago? And people just totally forget because they don't associate that with steroid. Okay, so just take into consideration those things can throw off your hormones long term. Gut dysbiosis can also cause estrogen excess. Like we know that candida in excess can cause estrogen excess as well. Environmental toxins act like estrogens, and also alcohol. So drinking, I know I love wine, guys. I do. I do not drink it every day. In fact, I'll have a glass or two, maybe once every other week. I know. Many women love to drink wine every night, but there are hormonal repercussions. It messes with blood sugar and it can cause over time estrogen dominance too. So there's nothing wrong with having a nice organic glass of wine or a nice European wine that hasn't been sprayed with pesticides or herbicides, right? But just, you don't want to be doing it every single night. Okay, because that can lead to estrogen excess. Now, things that you can do to help, you know, handle estrogen excess naturally, one of my favorite things to do is to take alpha CRS to lower inflammation in the system first, and then drink citrus oils. Citrus oils help your body break down those foreign estrogens that you might be getting in your body from, you know, stuff in the toxins in the air, things in your home like cleaning supplies. That's actually a very important part of keeping foreign estrogens down in your body. Also, got my notes here because I wanted to not forget anything for you guys. We also, to address the obesity and the diabetes, we want to make sure that we're using that grapefruit oil that we talked about. Remember, grapefruit oil, I've talked about this a lot on Instagram. It helps your body get into a fat burning state. So drinking grapefruit oil is wonderful for supporting healthy metabolism and making sure that you don't have those factors contributing to excess estrogen. Fat tissue itself will create estrogen. So it's very important to handle that metabolic component. If you have extra adipose tissue that you know is contributing to your metabolism and bringing it down, drinking grapefruit oil is going to be a really great simple way to support your body and speeding up metabolism while also, of course, addressing those food factors that are really important as well. You know, if you have digestive imbalance, we're going to get into that tomorrow. That's factor number 4. But my quick fix for digestive imbalance is take doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, take Terrazyme with meals and also between meals, take Digest Zen internally as a gentle detox as a gentle gut cleanser, and then drink citrus oils. Those 4 elements are great for supporting healthy gut. You guys, healthy gut is such a big part of healthy hormones in general. So just, adhere to that protocol. Lifelong Vitality, digest Zen internally, drink citrus oils, and take Terrazyme with your meals, and also 1 or 2 between meals to clean up anything that might be hanging out and contributing to, a dysbiosis that's making your body estrogen dominant. If you have questions about any of this stuff, I see we have a lot of people popping on. Go ahead and post it in the comment section. Okay, so far we've talked about 2 hormones. We've talked about insulin and we've talked about estrogen. Now, insulin, we already covered some of the natural things that you can do to support healthy blood sugar. Let's get in, and we talked about estrogen, having estrogen dominance and ways that you can work on that. But also, you guys, it's not just about estrogen dominance when it comes to estrogen. There's this other element here when we're looking at estrogen, and that is about how does your body break down estrogen. That's where we get into this really important, viewpoint around estrogen being contributing to the development of unhealthy breast tissue. So our body creates, a lot our body has different types of estrogens. The most common ones being estrone, estradiol, and estriol. Now your body is going to take those estrogens and it has to detoxify them, turn them into a water-soluble source once the body's done using it, and excrete it through the urine or through the digestive tract, even through sweat sometimes. Okay, so here's the thing. There's 3 ways that our liver will metabolize estrogen, okay? So your body, there's 1 way it'll metabolize estrogen, but then that estrogen can go down 3 different pathways. Now, some of us are more prone to detoxifying estrogen and sending it down towards a pathway, the type of pathway that has more potential to be, contributing to the development of unhealthy breast tissue. So really quick, just to give you guys the scientific names, so you can just either choose to listen to it or not. It will take that estrogen down either 2-OH, 4-OH, or 16-OH pathways, okay? So unfortunately, the one pathway we want to make sure that we're not putting too much of that estrogen down is the 4-OH pathway. So the reason for that is because if your body is more prone to sending the estrogen down that pathway, which you can check by doing a Dutch hormone test. If that's the case, then your body then has to do this extra detox for that estrogen that's gone down the 4-OH in the phase 2 of the detoxification pathway. So the thing is if you have too much going down 4-OH and your body doesn't handle that during the fail-safe mechanism of the phase 2 detox, then that estrogen it goes down the quinone pathway, and that quinone pathway can actually that estrogen will turn into quinone, and it'll turn into this form that can perpetuate breast cancer. So what happens is that estrogen has gone down the quinone pathway, and if it doesn't get caught by phase 2 detox, and now we have this quinone that can actually then turn into something called an adduct, and that adduct has the potential to then cause DNA damage, and that's when we start to see unhealthy breast cells develop. I'm going to talk to you about how you can disrupt that pathway in a minute. But if you have this adduct, your body has so many fail-safe mechanisms. It really does try its very best to prevent these things from happening. But there's 2 types of adducts that can form. One is stable, and that stable adduct will wait for your body's immune system to be able to recognize that this cell isn't healthy and go in and repair it. But then there's also an unstable adduct. And that unstable adduct doesn't wait for your immune system to come in, do the repair. And so what happened is we can see that it'll break through and break the DNA strand, and it'll actually cause, a hole to develop in the DNA strand, and that's not good. It's called depurinating. So what happens then is your immune system is supposed to be able to see that and send repair support there. Now, if it does that, then it's all good. The problem runs into when there's too many of these holes developing within that DNA strand at a faster rate than your body can go in and repair. And that's where we see cellular mutation take place. Okay? So, and at that point, you start to see unhealthy cells. So let's talk about some natural ways that we can support the body in proper estrogen detoxification along all of those different pathways that we talked about, all of those different checkpoints that we talked about. Okay, so we talked about being the fail-safe, in case phase one doesn't go like it's supposed to. And then also, how can we support the body if it's gone down that ketone pathway, developed an adduct, how do we support the body in going in and repairing at that stage as well? Okay, so this type of stuff requires a lot of day-to-day natural, conscious effort. It's very easy though. It's not like it's hard. It's not going to take hours to do. It's very simple. Okay. So ways that we can support healthy estrogen detox at stage one is eat lots of cruciferous vegetables. Now, if you've had a Dutch test and you know that you're more prone to sending estrogen down that 4-OH pathway, you can actually give your body some extra support beyond eating cruciferous vegetables. You have to do that. Eat cruciferous vegetables, but you can also give yourself some DIM and indole 3 carbinol, which you can buy at the local health food store. Okay, so that's supporting pathway detox phase one. Detox phase two. A lot of people are really not great phase two detoxifiers because we're magnesium deficient, okay? There's a lot of reasons why people are magnesium deficient nowadays. One is because many of us are on corticosteroids, like I was talking about, for like skin issues or given, joint injections. Corticosteroids are not good for magnesium. And so if you're low in magnesium, you're probably a poor phase two detoxifier. Also, acid blockers can cause poor phase two detoxification. So if you've been on Prilosec, get to the root cause of that heartburn, you guys. Like, that is not good. It is not helping phase two detox at all. So instead, get to the root cause of that. Most acid reflux issues are actually because the stomach's pH is off. So you can support healthy pH by using Terrazyme or a digestive enzyme when you eat, and then also taking Digestozen when you eat. Those are great ways to maybe help your body not need an acid blocker, because acid blockers will deplete your magnesium and make it so you're a poor phase two detoxifier. Other things that can slow phase two are things like taking diuretics, too much alcohol, and also coffee does slow phase two detoxification. So you want to make sure that you're taking good amounts of magnesium. I know I love coffee, but I make sure that I add extra mineral support in my water by doing pink Himalayan sea salt. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. That's where we get our magnesium naturally, okay? But if you know you're a poor phase two detoxifier, you can certainly take magnesium supplementation. That would be okay too. You can also support healthy phase two by eating a lot of green vegetables, foods that are high in vitamin B. Vitamin B is critical for phase two, and then also drinking citrus oils to help your body recycle glutathione. A lot of us are also deficient in glutathione because of all the things that are pro-inflammatory in our body. Extra inflammation eats up glutathione. Citrus oils help your liver recycle glutathione. Okay, so those are some ways that you can support phase two detoxification. Then, if all that fails, okay, phase one is just throwing things down that 4-OH pathway. Phase two doesn't do that course correction for us because it's sluggish and overwhelmed, and some of those 4-OH estrogens are now heading towards the ketone pathway, which is not good because we know that those ketones can turn into adducts. Those adducts can cause DNA damage. How can we also support, in case that's happening, how can we support our cells in repairing properly? Okay, so we talked about a lot of nutritional support, things that you can also do on a day-to-day basis to support your system and being able to regulate cells appropriately is take DDR Prime. DDR Prime soft gels are a wonderful way to support your body in that healthy cellular repair process. It's meant to, you can do it topically or you can do it internally. I like soft gels because they're easy. Right now I'm also really into using DDR and pink pepper on like a little breast massage every day. You can dilute that DDR Prime in your body butter or your coconut oil or your lotion. Just make sure your lotion has no synthetic fragrances in there because that's not good. That's totally contributing to unhealthy breast tissue. So just use something clean, pristine. Coconut oil is a good thing. I like the doTERRA body butter. I've even started using that new body spray that we now have. It smells amazing. So 1 drop of DDR Prime per breast. So 2 drops if you're using your coconut oil. Rub it in. If you're doing the body spray, you can just drop the DDR Prime and then alternate that with pink pepper every other day, or every few days do a switch. So DDR prime is going to support your system in doing the, the proper repair that it's naturally meant to be able to do. And then pink pepper supports your immune system in being able to identify those cells that might not be dying off like they're supposed to in case there was a mutation there. Pink pepper will support your immune system in being able to go after and remove the bad cells. So anyways, hey Andrea, that means so much coming from you. If you guys have any questions about this, let me know. Okay, so Mom to Jade Hetty, if you want to get this test done, you can look at Dutch. It's called the Dutch test, D-U-T-H. The laboratory is Precision Analytics. I'm pretty sure that as a client, like just a person that doesn't have if you're not a practitioner, I think you can order that test still and kind of see what's going on and how you're, metabolizing estrogen. If not, you'll have to work with a functional medicine practitioner to get that test, but I'm pretty sure that you can self-test it on your own. So that, again, that's Precision Analytics. So just to recap, you guys, we talked about ways to support. There's 2 hormones that you really want to make sure are healthy and in check when supporting healthy breast tissue. The first one is insulin, and we talked about natural ways to support healthy insulin levels. It's going to be a lot of governing blood sugar, getting rid of the things that are causing unhealthy blood sugar levels, using things like cinnamon oil and cinnamon sassy for a healthy insulin response at a cellular level. We also talked about hormone number 2, estrogen. We talked about 2 elements of estrogen. One, making sure that estrogen excess is not a problem. If you have things like obesity, diabetes, PCOS, endometriosis, those are signs that you might have estrogen excess. Other things that can cause estrogen excess are these xenoestrogens, these foreign estrogens coming from the environment. Gut dysbiosis, especially if you have candida excess, can cause estrogen excess. Also, if you drink too much alcohol too consistently, we can see an increase in estrogen excess, as well as if you're doing things like topical steroids long term, that can cause that as well. So handle that estrogen excess by 1, eliminating the factors that are contributing to that in your life, and 2, giving your body that extracellular support to lower excess estrogen, drinking citrus oils, lowering inflammation so your body can better manage the elimination of excess estrogens, like using alpha CRS. That's going to help you with that, okay? And then drinking citrus oils. So it's just like such a basic thing that you can do, okay? Now, finally, the other element of estrogen you want to be cautious and aware of is how is your body metabolizing estrogen. And we talked about, I'm not going to go, I'll go through it really briefly, but we talked about how you want to make sure that your body is getting support at all 3 of those checkpoints if you're concerned about you not metabolizing and detoxing estrogen very well. Supporting it in phase 1 by eating lots of cruciferous vegetables. Supporting it in, and if you know you are prone to needing extra support in phase 1, you can take indole 3 carbinol and also DIM, okay, but lots of cruciferous vegetables should be enough for most people. Then you can support at phase 2 by making sure you're getting in enough magnesium. Look at your food content. Google foods that are high in magnesium, okay? You can take magnesium supplements if you need to, but if you aren't getting in enough fruits and vegetables, you're already magnesium deficient. So start there. Start loading up your diet with foods high in magnesium. Making sure that you're not taking too many acid blockers, and if you can, avoid taking them altogether by doing Terrazyme and Digescent with your meals, okay? Taking lots of foods that are high in B vitamins as well. That's also supporting phase 2 detoxification. And then you can support that that trickle down pathway in case your body is prone, or maybe you just want to be proactive and support that trickle down effect. In case you're sending estrogens down the ketone pathway and forming adducts that are causing DNA damage, why not just be proactive and support healthy cellular repair by doing DDR prime every day? You could either do that topically on the breast tissue, as I talked about, or you can go ahead and take the supplement instead as a soft gel, and that's okay too. You can even support the immune response in identifying the cells that might not be working like they're supposed to, that might need to die off because they're unhealthy, by doing pink pepper as well. And I talked about alternating DDR prime and pink pepper for optimal breast immune support in fostering healthy breast tissue. Okay, so I tried to keep this not so heady. I realized it kind of sounded a little heady as we were getting through it. But if you have questions on any of this, you can let me know. Somebody asked, did you explain exactly how citrus oils help with detox. I did actually. They help in a couple of different ways. One, citrus oils can help to go after those foreign estrogens and help your body to break them down so the liver can work more efficiently. And then also, citrus oils help our liver recycle glutathione, which is a critical element in that phase 2 detoxification, okay? Somebody asked, what's the difference between a functional medicine? It depends. Many naturopathic doctors actually practice functional medicine. Functional medicine is very, very, very much focused on looking at the physiological mechanism or the root cause of the dis-ease that's happening in the system. So functional medicine, we're really big at looking at the physiological imbalances. Depending on the naturopath and the school that they went to and the additional training that they went to, they might be practicing functional medicine. But naturopathic medicine sometimes can look like using natural products to treat symptoms rather than looking at the root cause. Personally, I'm really big into working with people. Like if I wasn't feeling well and I needed support, I would only work with a functional medicine practitioner because I want somebody that's going to figure out what is the etiology, what are the exact pathways that are really throwing off my body, and knowing that I can like check and recheck to make sure that my body is responding appropriately and looking at labs and looking at numbers to ensure that the physiological pathways are being addressed. Okay. Someone asked, okay, I'm wondering, this might be disconnected, but I'm wondering about oils that have been reported to have phytoestrogenic properties like melaleuca or lavender. Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, I think I know what you're referring to about the phytoestrogenic effect of lavender. So if the lavender that you are using has been sprayed with herbicides, yeah, the herbicides are estrogenic. It's not necessarily the lavender itself. Melaleuca is not estrogenic, but I know that clary sage is estrogenic. It can be, it is considered a phytoestrogen, meaning it's plant-based and it can act like an estrogen. So the theory behind using phytoestrogens therapeutically would be that they can help to remove, we have these estrogen receptor sites that sit on the surface of our cells, okay? So phytoestrogens are thought, if we have a toxic estrogen come and sit, a toxin-based estrogen come and sit in that cellular receptor site, that's not good. Those toxic estrogens are actually way more estrogenic than our natural estrogen that we produced. And because this guy is sitting here, this toxic estrogen, toxin-based estrogen is sitting here, it makes it so that there's not a cellular binding receptor site available to our natural estrogen. Phytoestrogens are thought to be able to actually come in, clean out the receptor site, and now make it so that the phytoestrogen is sitting here instead of the toxin-based estrogen. Okay, so it can actually be really helpful and supportive for some people. For other people, because they don't detox estrogens that well, that might not be totally appropriate for them. So it just depends on the individual. What I love about essential oils and their and things, not all essential oils are phytoestrogenic, by the way, most aren't. But what I like about essential oils is they're really, really mild. So they're pretty hormone balancing for most people. I'm not like a huge advocate for the phytoestrogen supplement. I would so much rather see people balance their hormones more naturally, like a little bit more holistically, by using the Lifelong Vitality Pack, by using citrus oils, cleaning out those cellular receptor sites. And if you're postmenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal, and you need extra estrogen support, because by the way, you have to have good amounts of estrogen. If your estrogen is low, that's not good either. You need healthy amounts of estrogen for breast health. Believe too much estrogen is bad, but healthy amounts of estrogen is really important for breast health, brain health, vaginal health. That stuff really navigates our cognition is affected when estrogen is too low. So if you need those, some phytoestrogen in your life, I would recommend that you stick with the essential oils like clary sage that can help your body regulate natural estrogen a little bit more holistically rather than taking the phytoestrogen supplement, which is much stronger. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Katie. I think that's one more question here. Okay, so the study you're referring to about breast health in young boys is a very questionable study. There's no validity in that with the lavender essential oil, because lavender is actually not supposed to be estrogenic. And so you have to really check. This is why quality is so important with natural medicine. It's not like, oh, it's natural, so it should be safe no matter what. That's not the case. If those lavender plants, first of all, the lavender plants are being sprayed, boom, estrogen, the toxins, the pesticides, the herbicides are estrogenic, done. Of course, secondly, you have to make sure that there's no adulterations that have things in it that might be estrogenic. That's why quality is so important. That's why I would never use any other brand except for doTERRA. So our lavender is clean and pure and is not estrogenic. So just, check out your quality control and also check out the studies that you're looking at. Okay, Mom to Jade, I hope that answered your questions. I think I got it. We had a lot of questions today, probably because it's a big topic. Anyways, if you have questions because you're watching the recording, feel free to post them in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer them. Everybody on Instagram, if you have a friend who could be served by this information, go ahead and tag them in the comment section. This video will only be live for the next 24 hours. And if you want to check it out later on, you can check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Dr. Melissa Esquera, as we are streaming live over there too. All right, hope this information served you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you soon.